Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at the Kuat NV 2.0 2-bike platform rack here on our 2019 Ford Transit Connect. So your Transit Connect is a very versatile vehicle. You've got your work van, you can use this for van life, you can put a bed in there, you can go all out for your camping and your different types of adventures. Now, what if you also want to carry around your bikes? That's where the Kuat NV comes in handy. It's one of your more premium bike racks. Has everything you need. It can tilt away, you have integrated locks, you can tighten things down. It works really well and it looks good. So we'll talk about those features and how it works with the van. So the first thing we'll take a look at is the tilt away feature. Now, with this being the Transit Connect, you are kind of limited to your tilt away axis. So even if you pull this lever here and drop the bike rack down to a tilt, you still won't be able to open up your hatch completely. As you can see, you can get it about this high before it makes contact with the pedals. The good news though is it does not make contact with the bike rack itself. So if you take your bike off, you will still be able to open up that door. Another option for you there is you may want to take a look at the Kuat pivot. You can add that with your Kuat NV. That way you can swing away your entire system and then get access to your door. What types of bikes can you carry with the NV? Well, you do have a really good weight capacity of 60 pounds per bike. So for your extra heavy electric bikes, this will work with that. Another thing is we have our large mountain bike here, and with a wheelbase of up to 50 inches, we can carry that. But also, whether you have your step-through frames, women's frames, children's bikes, because of the way the bike is mounted, you have that versatility as well. So here you have your front wheel mount. I like pretty much any bike rack that has a front wheel mount because, again, of that versatility. And then in the back, you have the rear wheel strap holding your rear wheel in place. And when you want to take your bike off, you start at that strap by pressing that lever and lifting up on it. What I then do is I go over to the front and I hold on to the bike's frame as I press this lever, lift up on that front wheel hook, and push that out. And from here, we can then just grab our bike, lift it up, and go and hit the trails. With the bike off, we get to take a closer look at the rack itself. So you have that rear wheel strap, which adjusts back and forth for those different wheel bases. At the end of each tray, you actually have an integrated cable lock. So this wraps around either your front wheel, your frame, and then you can secure it. All the locks are keyed alike. Then on your front cradle, you can see how it is alternating. You have your front wheel cradle with the grooves. So the grooves on the inside are for those different tire widths. You can carry a bike of up to 3 inches of tire width on both cradles, or a single bike of up to 5 inches per cradle. If you want to carry 2 fat tire bikes, you can easily get another strap adapter for those fat bikes. Holding that front wheel in place is the front wheel mount I talked about earlier. This secures that front wheel and folds down to be all nice and neat. So everything works together to carry those extra heavy bikes. And you also have the end of the Kuat NV, which can be for your repairs. So with the bike off, we can now see if we can open up the door. And with clearances, we definitely have clearance between our front wheel cradle and our bike rack, giving us full access there. The bummer is you do have to take your bikes off to do so. Now the length this adds to the back of our van. We'll take some measurements from the bumper to the end of the rack by that repair stand, and that's going to be 34 inches of length. You can actually add on to the Kuat NV, get the 2-bike add-on, and then you'll have a 4-bike bike rack, but that's going to be a lot of length to consider whenever you're backing into your garage or trying to park into a really tight spot. Another measurement is ground clearance. So I'm going to measure at the end of the rack to the ground, and that's 21 inches. Compare that measurement though to where the shank is, and that is 10 3/4 inches. So ground clearance, most people are concerned about when they go up steep inclines like those driveways or those hills. The Transit Connect is actually a bit lower to the ground compared to your larger vans, so that's definitely something worth keeping in mind. Good thing though this does have that shank rise. Your bikes are higher up off the ground. In fact, where your bikes sit is going to be 23 inches off the ground. If your bikes are too heavy, let's say you max it out at the 60-pound weight capacity and that's still too high for you to lift, you may want to consider taking a look at the Kuat NV access ramp, which you can add on to here, and then you can just ramp your bikes on and off. Now, what if you're not planning on going out for a bike ride just yet, but you also don't want to take your bike rack off, or if you don't have enough space inside of your small garage for the bike rack with the bikes on? What you can do is you can fold this up. Remember that lever we pulled earlier to tilt it away? Well, pull it again, but this time lift up on the rack and it snaps into place against your vehicle. So let's take some measurements here. For the closest point, we have plenty of clearance between the rack and the van. We have a clearance of, from the bumper to the front wheel mount, 6 inches, so plenty of space there. Next is going to be the length it now adds from the bumper to where your handle or your knob is. That's going to be 17 inches. Big difference compared to when this was folded down. You'll want it in this position when you're just planning on driving around town and you don't want to take your bike rack off. Well, notice with it folded up like this, in terms of width, it's not covering anything. Your taillights are still visible. In terms of height, your rear window is visible as well. Now your backup camera is offset towards the passenger side, and it's right in that opening for your front wheel mount. So what's going to happen is with this folded up like this, you are going to be able to see through your backup camera the view behind you, but you'll also see your bike rack. Now when you have your license plate on here, it is going to cover that a bit. And also remember, you do have that repair stand. So if you open that up, you can just twist this out, load your bikes up if you need to make those emergency repairs while you're on the trail. Pop that back in and tighten it back into place. So this rack has a 2-inch shank, but you can also find some versions of the NV that have an 1.25-inch shank, so make sure to get the correct one to match your 2-inch hitch receiver. So that pops into place. We have a hitch pin and a lock. In fact, that lock is key to the locks you'll find on the end of each tray. That way you'll only need to use one key to access the whole system. You do have this anti-rattle knob, so when you turn this, and you don't need to use tools, although there's a hidden tool on the inside if you don't have enough grip strength, this extends a ball cam inside of your hitch receiver, creating an anti-rattle effect. So if I shake this bike rack back and forth just to simulate the road movement and the vibration, I'll even go up and down, I'm really just moving the van at this point, showing that those connections are all nice and secure. Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or a pothole or driving over uneven pavement. Now lastly, we're going over some full speed bumps, and we can see here the up and down action, and this will just be like driving in and out of a parking lot, garage, or driveway. Now my personal thoughts about the Kuat NV is, first, I really like how it looks on the Transit Connect. In fact, the colors even seem to match. You have that shine on the silver or the gray version. This one has the orange accents, but you can also get the Kuat NV as a metallic black, or even a matte black if you get the base version. Now, other than looking really good, it works really well. You have a bunch of different features there, like how you can step on this lever while you're holding your bike in your other hand. You have that 60-pound weight capacity. It's really impressive. Now, if you do need to upgrade, maybe you need even more weight capacity, you may want to check out the Hollywood Racks Destination E 2-bike platform rack with a 70-pound weight capacity and an even further tilt. That might work out better for you depending on your different types of bikes. But if your bikes are within the 60 pounds, I definitely recommend this since it is all included and will work out for you. And that was a look at the Kuat NV 2.0 2-bike platform rack on our 2019 Ford Transit Connect.